So here's a conflict that I think sits right at the heart of, well, almost every self-help or spiritual journey we talk about.
Okay.
When you're trying to grow, are you just trying to become a better version of yourself, like, you 2.0? Or is the goal to become a completely different species altogether?
It sounds like a philosophical distinction, but the source we're digging into today argues that the difference is literally life and death.
Welcome back. Today we are unpacking a very specific and honestly a pretty radical entry from the Rhapsody of Reality's daily devotional by Pastor Chris.
Right. This one is from January 22nd, The Excellence of the New Man in Christ.
And our mission here is really to get our heads around a definition of identity that just completely rejects the whole idea of self-improvement.
It really does. The text argues that being born again isn't, it's not a renovation project on an old house. It's a total demolition and a rebuild from scratch.
Which is a massive shift. I mean, I think most of us operate on the work-in-progress model, right? I mess up, I ask for forgiveness, I try to do better tomorrow.
Exactly. The whole sinner saved by grace narrative. But this text, it basically throws a wrench in that whole engine. It quotes Colossians to argue that a believer is not a forgiven sinner.
Not a forgiven sinner.
No, it claims you are a brand new creature.
Okay, that's a difficult concept. If I'm not a forgiven sinner, then what am I?
Well, the source digs right into another passage, Colossians 1:22, to answer that. And it uses three very specific legal-sounding terms for this new man.
Which are?
Holy, unblameable, and unreprovable.
Unreprovable. What does that actually mean in, plain English?
So think of it like a courtroom. Being unreprovable doesn't just mean you were found not guilty. It means there wasn't enough evidence to even bring a charge against you in the first place.
Oh, wow.
So the text is arguing that in this new state, God doesn't just overlook your faults. He finds no fault to begin with.
So it's not that my record was wiped clean. It's that there is no record.
Precisely. And that leads right to the second big pillar here. If you are this perfect new creation, how did you get there? The text points to Ephesians describing the believer as God's handiwork.
I caught that. It talks about the good life being predestined or planned beforehand.
And that completely changes how you think about your life's purpose, doesn't it? We usually think we have to, hustle and build our own destiny.
Right, you write your own story. That's the whole mantra.
But this text says the script is already locked. It describes life as walking down paths God prepared ahead of time. So the pressure isn't on you to create a good life, but just to walk the one that's already there.
That sounds kind of relieving, but also maybe a bit restrictive. But let's go back to the new man idea for a second. We have to talk about the upgrade.
The idea that you're just an improved version of your old self.
Yeah. The text is almost aggressive about this. It says, flat out, that old man has ceased to exist.
That phrase is vital to the whole argument. Because if you see yourself as version 2.0, you're admitting the old buggy code is still in there somewhere, just, patched over. This author is saying, no, the old hardware was thrown out. This is a factory replacement.
And the factory settings on this new model are perfection.
Yes. Pure, sanctified, glorified, justified. The text argues that holiness isn't a behavior you work hard to achieve. It is your fundamental nature. It's just what you are.
Okay, but we have to ground this because someone listening is definitely thinking, well, I still have bad habits. I still get angry in traffic. If I'm so perfect, why do I still act so imperfectly?
And that's where the practical application comes in. The text literally commands the reader to refuse to accept weakness, failure, or sin as normal.
Refuse to accept? That sounds a little like denial.
In this framework, it's not denial, it's alignment. The argument is if you accept those flaws as part of you, you're actually identifying with the old man, the one who's supposed to be dead and gone.
So it's an identity crisis. You're choosing which identity to live out of.
In a way, yes. The text says you're supposed to display the virtues of the divine. You're not working toward perfection. You're supposed to be working from a position of perfection to express it. Identity comes before behavior.
It's a fascinating, if pretty intense, way to look at yourself.
Yeah.
Instead of waking up every morning trying to fix what's broken, you wake up assuming you're already fixed.
And just realizing it, just knowing it, is the real work.
So here's the final thought I want to leave you with. It's something that was kind of nagging at me while reading this.
Let's hear it.
If the source is correct, if the old man has actually died and ceased to exist, and this new you is a flawless divine being,
right,
then who or what is remembering all the bad habits?
That's a great question. What's carrying the memory of the trauma or the old pattern?
Exactly. If the hard drive was wiped, what's keeping a ghost of the old data running?
A ghost in the machine. That is a haunting thought.
Something to chew on.
Talk to you next time.
We trust you were blessed by this episode. To gain unlimited access to Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris, please download the Rhapsody app using the link myapp.rhapsodyofrealities.org. God bless you.